So what does this enhanced local law enforcement effort mean in the battle against illegal immigration statewide? Joining me now is Dr. Pamela Seay, an attorney and a professor and chair of justice studies at Florida Gulf Coast University. Professor Seay, welcome.
Why, thank you very much. Glad to be here.
So I want to start with this news conference that sheriffs participated from counties across our state. During that news conference, they said sheriff's deputies with special training will process immigration detainers issued by federal authorities to keep inmates in jail. What does this mean? How does this work?
Well, that's a big question. And it's really not something new. This is something that has been in place for quite some time. It's only recently been reinstituted by the current administration. That for someone, a foreign national who has been arrested, if they are considered to be a danger, they've committed a crime against persons, or they're a drug crime, or something that is a danger to the community, or they are otherwise removable under federal law, there's a notification that is sent to ICE through the Department of Homeland Security, and if that person would be considered removable, there is a detainer, and that notification of a detainer goes to the law enforcement agency. And once they are completed with whatever processing they ordinarily would do, they must keep that person for an additional 48 hours, notify ICE, and ICE has that 48 hours within which to take custody of that person. If ICE does not take custody of the person, then they will be released back into the public, or they would otherwise be, they would conclude their service, whatever it is they might need to do.
So as you mentioned, this is not new to the Trump administration. Why are we seeing it enacted this time, and why did it stop previously?
I don't know exactly why it was not enforced. Concerns over racial profiling and concerns over overzealous law enforcement and concerns that we might be going beyond the scope of the rules. And those are very valid concerns. However, it seems that the pendulum has swung a little bit too far in the other direction, so that many people who should probably have been deported or had some other kind of departure arranged were staying and being released back into the public, and they were a danger to the community. Maybe they committed some horrible crime. There's a drug offense, kidnappings, attempted murders, things of that nature, aggravated assault, robberies, anything of that nature. So instead of going all one direction to say, let's everybody go back into the community, we've gone another direction and say, well, let's consider them. And let's wait and do it in the 48-hour time frame. And if they are considered removable under the rules, then they should be sent home.
So during that news conference, Pinellas Sheriff Gualtieri said that their priority is apprehending and deporting those who are, quote, criminally illegal, public safety threats, national security threats, those who have been previously deported and come back again. Is it difficult, though, to sort of know exactly where that threshold is? I mean, could somebody be stopped for, I don't know, running a red light, maybe not coming to a complete stop at a stop sign, and sort of fall into this category and, you know, being picked up by ICE?
Theoretically, that is possible, yes. If someone is committed a crime, they've committed something that has caused them to come to the attention of law enforcement, they present identification that is inappropriate or false, or they don't have it, they're driving without a driver's license, something that brings them to the attention of law enforcement, if they can otherwise be taken into custody, they will be. And at that point, if you are taken into custody, the notification would then be sent, and if there is a cause for removal, the detainer would let them know that, and they would not be able to remain. Or, excuse me, they would not be able to be released. They would have to be retained for those extra 48 hours for ICE.
The Tallahassee Democrat was recently reporting about traffic stops that were happening in northern Florida, and they interviewed one of the couples who was stopped during this traffic stop. They were pulled over because of air fresheners hanging from the rear view mirror. This is, of course, according to the couple, and stickers obstructing the windshield. Another gentleman said he was stopped for not wearing his seatbelt, which he denies. That gentleman essentially said that he was Hispanic. And he said he felt like he was stopped because he was Hispanic, that had he not been Hispanic, that, people were being picked up for maybe not what he felt was fair reasons.
To be pulled over for not wearing your seatbelt is a legitimate stop. To be pulled over for having obstructions in your view through the windshield, that is a legitimate stop. And ordinary people do get stopped for that. So to say that you're going to avoid pulling someone over because, they might be Hispanic, so I don't want to stop them, that doesn't make good sense. If a law enforcement officer is doing his job properly and is stopping someone, they have an obstruction in the windshield, they've got a light out in the back. I know I've been stopped for that. I got stopped for a muffler that needed work and needed to be Midasized. So these things do happen. So I think it's important to recognize that law enforcement is doing its proper job, and if someone is pulled over while the officer is doing that, if they have other reasons for being held onto and being put in jail, that might happen. And I think we're not out looking for it. I think when I was listening to that press conference, the sheriffs were very clear that they are not specifically going out and looking and saying, oh, this fellow looks like he might be an illegal alien, and this person might be undocumented, this one's out of status, this is a criminal. No, they're looking for ordinary violations. And if in finding an ordinary violation, they find someone who has been here improperly, they must act on it. And that's what they're doing. So I don't see this as targeting or racial profiling. It is law enforcement doing their ordinary job, and in the process, finding people who don't belong, don't have proper status, don't have their documentation.
Professor Seay, we thank you for your time. Thank you. Thanks for watching. We've got more great content for you, from news to the arts to the environment. So be sure to like and subscribe to WGCU's YouTube channel and follow us on our social media platforms for the stories that matter to you.